In the previous episode, as Luo Feng began his breakthrough to become a true god, a beam of golden light descended across space and time, shaking all living beings throughout the universe. At the ancestral god palace, all true gods of the ancestral god school gathered and were shocked when an unknown golden light descended from across space-time. Even though they were true gods with miniature universes and authority respected by the will of origin, every one of them, including Cold Whale True God and Nine Remoteness True Master, was forced to kneel involuntarily. The ancestral gods themselves admitted they also knelt, concluding that this phenomenon was beyond the influence of the will of origin and instead linked to a higher order force. Most true gods speculated that Luo Feng had begun his breakthrough into becoming a true god. As the golden light seemed to mark his transformation, however, no historical record, whether from law-based or godly power cultivation paths, had ever described such an event. Members of the Space Beast Alliance were equally confused, stating that this phenomenon was unprecedented even in ancient inheritances. In the human territory, Void Gold True God and others reacted with awe and excitement, praising Luo Feng's achievement and believing it could help resolve the Sector Beast crisis. Across the universe ocean, countless races and ordinary life forms instinctively saw the golden figure of Luo Feng and were forced to bow, though most did not even know his identity, while higher civilizations recognized him as the Milky Way Horde leader. Within a nearby miniature universe, Sitting Mountain Guest narrowly escaped being affected by the golden light by fleeing through a universe channel and realized the phenomenon was not caused by the will of origin but by the supreme law, which enforces instinctual hierarchy among life forms. He concluded Luo Feng's breakthrough was extraordinary, far beyond normal true god advancement, especially on the godly power route, and may be linked to an unprecedented evolution of life gene structure. Back in the solar system of the Milky Way Holy Land, Luo Feng regained awareness and discovered his life gene level had reached 100.000 times, an unprecedented limit with no precedent in any ancient inheritance. Including the world of Jin records, the godly body levels were 30.000 to 60.000 first, 60.000 to 90.000 second, and near 100.000 third, but 100.000 had never been recorded before. Still uncertain how he achieved it, Luo Feng proceeded with his final breakthrough as his remote ocean body recombined and the Milky Way Holy Land underwent a massive transformation. The supreme law no longer manifested, but the primal universe law descended instead, infusing endless godly power into his remote ocean body. His body size slightly reduced as quality increased, while his remote ocean rapidly expanded. At the same time, his other bodies, including the Mosha body and Golden Horned Beast body, rushed back from across the universe ocean to merge for the final stage of his breakthrough. The remote ocean was surrounded by an even larger shadow of the ocean of laws, from which an enormous amount of godly power descended like a storm. And the true gods, universe masters, and universe knights in the Milky Way Holy Land watched in shock as Luo Feng, wrapped in the godly ocean water, absorbed power at an extreme speed. Luo Feng observed that his godly body was rapidly devouring godly power, because his soul was complete and his body had reached 100.000 times life gene level. His absorption efficiency was astonishing, and the will of the origin and supreme laws cooperated, allowing continuous descent of godly power. His remote ocean body expanded again until its diameter reached 12 light years, after which the ocean of laws dissipated, indicating the limit had been reached. Realizing he could not absorb any more, Luo Feng gathered his remote ocean body, Mosha body, Golden Horned Beast body, and Earthling original body, merged them, leaving a remaining small lake that represented his Earthling body's absorption limit. Then stored everything and prepared to proceed. Outside observers from Milky Way Holy Land believed he was about to expand his god country into a miniature universe. In his god country, Luo Feng confirmed it had reached its limit and began the transformation as it expanded violently, absorbing chaotic airflow through void passages that continuously formed, breaking down and rebuilding the world into a primordial state. And over time it expanded rapidly toward the standard size of a true god's miniature universe, around 100 million light-years in diameter. However, Luo Feng's miniature universe continued expanding beyond the normal limit due to his 100.000 times life gene level. exceeding the usual constraints that bound other true gods. This unusual growth caused concern among outside observers, including primal chaos city leader and teacher Origin, who could not directly interfere or observe clearly due to the protection of the supreme laws. Eventually, Luo Feng's god country finished expanding, fully transforming into a miniature universe that broke free from the primal universe's membrane wall and emerged into the universe ocean like a new independent universe, the miniature universe of Luo Feng, with a diameter of 1 billion light-years, was violently ejected from the primal universe, leaving behind an enormous gap in the membrane wall, and the force behind the ejection was so immense that it caused intense chaotic airflow surges and violent spatial vibrations that spread outward across surrounding regions. These disturbances were quickly detected by many universe masters stationed near the boundary areas of the humans' former territory. And since Luo Feng had previously forced billions of races in the primal universe to acknowledge him, he had become a central figure of attention. So hundreds of universe masters were already waiting nearby, hiding and observing for any major changes. A green, lizard-like universe master first sensed the ripples of energy and teleported toward the source, discovering a massive, tumbling miniature universe still stabilizing, and soon dozens of others arrived, confirming its identity and determining its diameter to be 1 billion light-years, far exceeding normal true god miniature universes of around 100 million light-years. They compared it with known Holy Land universes, Purple Moon Holy Land at approximately 210 million light-years and East Emperor Holy Land at around 320 million light-years. Yet Luo Feng's was still several times larger, causing widespread shock, although astonished. Many universe masters could still accept it because Luo Feng had already established himself as the strongest universe master of the universe ocean and had previously forced even true gods to bow. So his rise and extraordinary miniature universe were seen as consistent with his overwhelming strength. The news quickly spread across the universe ocean, within the human faction. Divine-eyed True Master and others expressed great excitement, believing Luo Feng was now the strongest true god and the greatest hope against the Sector Beast crisis. While Purple Moon Ancestor reacted with shock and disbelief upon hearing confirmation from multiple witnesses, recalling that even the most powerful beings in ancient civilization history only had miniature universes of around 100 million light-years and could not comprehend how Luo Feng broke this limit. Despite the global reaction, no one could contact Luo Feng, as he remained isolated inside his own miniature universe filled with chaotic airflow and an unfinished internal structure. Within this environment, Luo Feng understood his universe had reached maximum expansion and began the most critical stage of his breakthrough, unifying all his bodies, reconstructing his original form, and determining the fundamental structure of the miniature universe, which would define its future evolution, origin strength, and ultimate cultivation limit. If flawed, future breakthroughs would become impossible. Treating this as a once-in-a-lifetime decision, he combined all bodies and returned them to the origin space, where he disintegrated them completely into a condensed core of godly power, forming the heart of a true god, containing his soul and allowing direct communication with the universe origin. At the same time, his godly power became highly compressed and reduced in total quantity, leaving only a fraction of his previous energy, but granting full control and maximum efficiency in its use. After this transformation, Luo Feng regained his true earthling form within the universe origin. He acknowledged that his previous godly power scale had been drastically reduced, but also understood that as long as the miniature universe absorbed enough external energy in the future, he could recover and even surpass his former level. He then retrieved his treasures, including his armor and weapons, such as Wu Qi God, Shi Wu Wanes, Star Tower, and Blood Ghost Blade, integrating them back into his possession for the next stage of evolution. The final and most important step was the creation of the universe structure itself. Luo Feng compared different inherited structure systems, including those from the Duan-Dong River lineage and the world of Jin civilization. Although he had once designed a system called Cloud-9, he had since surpassed it through deeper understanding and evolution of life structure diagrams and cultivation insights. From this new comprehension, he developed a superior structure system called Beginning of the Origin, which he believed surpassed all previous frameworks. To execute it, he activated a creation method known as 100.000 heavens. Under his will, the chaotic universe began to split and organize, forming 100.000 spatial planes simultaneously in a single instant. This process resembled the creation of heaven and earth on a cosmic scale, requiring extreme precision and control. However, this step was extremely difficult. Even with his immense willpower, failure was still possible. If he failed, the result would only remain as a lesser structure equivalent to 100.000 heavens, without the deeper conceptual breakthrough of beginning of the origin. Luo Feng was determined to avoid such an outcome, as it would limit the future evolution of his miniature universe and restrict his ultimate potential. While Luo Feng was in the process of constructing and stabilizing the structure of his miniature universe, Sector Beast Morosa was moving at high speed across the vast universe ocean. After suffering a severe reduction in power and being exposed within the Sector Beast's nest, Morosa found itself in a desperate situation. Other Sector Beasts, recognizing its weakened state, no longer feared it and instead began hunting it down for revenge. Once a dominant existence that looked down on others, Morosa had become a target. Unable to find safety anywhere within the nest, realizing it could no longer survive there, it decided to leave and return to the universe ocean. Filled with hatred and destructive intent, Morosa resolved that before facing its inevitable downfall, it would seek revenge against Luo Feng, the Milky Way Horde leader. Although it was not confident it could kill Luo Feng, its nature compelled it to act. It intended to at least cause disruption, vent its rage, and transmit intelligence back to the land of darkness so that greater calamity could eventually befall Luo Feng in the future. Driven by instinctive destruction and resentment, Morosa used long-distance teleportation and soon arrived near the outer region of a miniature universe. At this location, Morosa activated a state of black fog and distorted energy streams that extended toward the miniature universe without fully devouring it. As if waiting or observing, shortly after, a ship emerged from the void and a figure appeared, nine-headed demon master. This being, a powerful true god who had long remained low profile, had gradually revealed his strength after the appearance of the world of Jin and was recognized as one of the 8 heroes of the universe ocean. He had previously sent many exploration teams into the Sector Beast's nest, gaining partial understanding of their terrifying numbers, though at great cost in lives and resources. Through these explorations, Nine-Headed Demon Master learned that the Sector Beasts were far more numerous than expected, enough to threaten the entire universe ocean if fully unleashed. Eventually, seeking survival, he secretly chose to side with the Sector Beasts, just as others such as Great Thunderstar Master, Dragon Rock Ancestral God, and Zhenjia Emperor had done. However, after defecting, he quickly came to regret his decision, realizing that those who submitted would become mere servants without autonomy. He also sensed that when the future king of the Sector Beasts was born, traitors like him might still be discarded or destroyed. Despite this regret, it was already too late for him to turn back. Nine-Headed Demon Master had actually helped Morosa avoid Luo Feng's earlier ambush by providing indirect intelligence. Now, facing Morosa directly, he respectfully addressed it as, "My great king." Acknowledging his submission, Morosa immediately questioned him about the current situation in the universe ocean and specifically about Luo Feng's status. Nine-Headed Demon Master reported that the universe ocean was relatively peaceful. But the most shocking news was that Luo Feng had already become a true god. This revelation shocked Morosa deeply. Luo Feng had once been far weaker than him, yet had now reached true god level while Morosa itself had only barely recovered to the second stage after previously being weakened. The gap in power and development speed made Morosa realize that if they met again, he would be completely suppressed. Nine-Headed Demon Master further explained that Luo Feng was considered the number 1 master of the universe ocean and had only taken 1 trillion eras to reach this level, which was already considered extremely fast. He also detailed Luo Feng's massive influence, including the allegiance of countless races and the enormous scale of his miniature universe, which spanned around 100.000 light years. Hearing this, Morosa's expression grew increasingly twisted and uneasy. Nine-Headed Demon Master added that Luo Feng's miniature universe had only recently entered the universe ocean and was currently in a crucial phase of construction and stabilization. Because of its enormous scale, it would likely require a long time to fully mature, possibly leaving Luo Feng unable to move freely for a month or more. This information immediately gave Morosa a sense of opportunity. It realized that during this period, Luo Feng might remain inside his universe protecting it and would not easily patrol the universe ocean. Morosa began analyzing the situation carefully, weighing the risks. Although Luo Feng might still have allies capable of resisting it, the current window of time represented a rare chance where Luo Feng could not act freely. Satisfied with this possibility, Morosa laughed and praised Nine-Headed Demon Master before teleporting away, planning its next move. Meanwhile, Nine-Headed Demon Master was left in deep regret, realizing that his betrayal had fully trapped him with no path to retreat. Inside Luo Feng's miniature universe, a vast transformation was underway. The structure known as 100.000 heavens had been successfully established. Where the universe was divided into 100.000 interconnected planes of varying structure and scale. These planes were subtly linked, forming a massive system resembling a cosmic whirlpool. Correspondingly, within the universe origin, 100.000 planetary representations were also arranged, mirroring the external structure. A Luo Feng then initiated the critical stage known as the beginning of the origin. Under the guidance of his willpower, the 100.000 planes began to rotate violently, interacting with each other through invisible connections. Inside the universe origin, the 100.000 corresponding planets released golden energy streams, forming an extremely complex network resembling a superstructure. This network converged toward a central void, where the true origin core began to form. As rotation intensified, instability emerged, some planes collided and collapsed, and Luo Feng's control was pushed to its limits. However, he maintained absolute focus, continuously reinforcing the structure with his willpower. With a powerful command, the system stabilized, and a central void whirlpool was successfully formed at the core of the universe origin. This whirlpool became the true beginning of the origin, a foundational source from which all creation would emerge. Once completed, the system entered a self-sustaining cycle. The 100.000 planes began revolving steadily around the central void, and any destroyed plane could be regenerated automatically. This marked a complete transformation in the miniature universe's structure. Luo Feng observed with satisfaction, understanding that his universe had now gained a true origin mechanism capable of endless regeneration and evolution. The effect of this structure was immediately visible. Outside the miniature universe, massive amounts of chaotic airflow were drawn in continuously and converted into divine power. The absorption process formed a gigantic rotating vortex around the universe, dramatically increasing its energy conversion efficiency. The beginning of the origin not only stabilized the system but also greatly enhanced the growth potential and long-term power generation of Luo Feng's miniature universe. Morosa suddenly reappeared in its original form outside a miniature universe. Driven by greed, it began absorbing the origin of the miniature universe, rapidly spreading an evil black aura and distorting space as it devoured energy with great satisfaction. Shocked Devil God sensed the sector beast's return and realized it was devouring its miniature universe. Fearful of confrontation, it immediately warned other true gods, and news of the sector beast's reappearance quickly spread across the universe ocean. At the True God Palace, human and allied forces gathered in response. Primal Chaos City leader and Luo Feng, Milky Way Horde leader, held the highest positions. Discussions centered on the sector beast threat, but it was decided that no one must disturb Luo Feng, as his breakthrough was crucial to the fate of all races. Only the situation near Shock Devil God's miniature universe would be handled by true God-level forces. Outside Luo Feng's miniature universe, powerful guards were deployed by the Primal Universe forces to prevent interference from other reincarnation-era powers. Meanwhile, Morosa continued its rampage, devouring multiple miniature universes in succession. Each time True God troops arrived, it escaped using body disassembly. Within a short time, it had already consumed the origins of 6 miniature universes. Tensions rose among various true gods. But Primal Chaos City leader maintained that Luo Feng's cultivation must not be interrupted under any circumstances. Inside his miniature universe, Luo Feng remained completely unaware of the chaos. He was undergoing a critical transformation as the law of chaos evolved into the 10 fundamental laws of time, space, and the elemental forces, with various fusion laws hidden within the operation of the universe origin. His comprehension surged rapidly, allowing him to reach unprecedented levels in secret techniques. Even approaching the theoretical 10th tier level, Eventually, the evolution of chaos completed, establishing the laws of his miniature universe and triggering the birth of continents, rivers, and elemental structures as it entered its initial cosmic cycle stage. After finishing this transformation, Luo Feng stepped out of his universe origin, marking the completion of this phase of evolution. Luo Feng was stunned after stepping out of his miniature universe and sensed numerous powerful beings gathering outside, including true gods and universe masters from various races. Confused, he released his aura, which immediately revealed his identity as Milky Way Horde leader, causing all nearby beings to teleport and rush toward him. They congratulated him on becoming a true god, while Luo Feng retracted his aura and discovered he could control it freely, even completely concealing his presence, which he realized was linked to his 100.000 times life gene level and required further study. More and more strong beings gathered outside his miniature universe, including Fire Dome True God, Long Yan True God, and Void Gold True God. They explained that sector beasts had reappeared, so many forces had come both to guard Luo Feng's cultivation and prevent interference from other universe eras. Luo Feng learned that only one sector beast had appeared this time. After thanking them, he returned to the original universe. A simple celebration was held in the virtual universe for Luo Feng's breakthrough, attended by many true gods and over 2.000 universe masters, along with members of other races. Primal Chaos City leader informed him that the sector beast had appeared 9 times and then disappeared again, likely because it was absorbing and converting swallowed origin energy, and that this current one seemed weaker but could also be a trap. Luo Feng acknowledged the warning and prepared for future conflict. Luo Feng then patrolled the universe ocean while continuing to study both his body's hidden potential and the evolution of chaos in accelerated time. He concluded that sector beasts had a hierarchy and that third-level ones were already within his ability to kill. Meanwhile, Morosa completed its energy conversion, reached peak level 2, and prepared to seek out Luo Feng again, though it knew it was still not his match. As time passed, the sector beast did not appear, increasing tension among all races. Luo Feng continued his preparations in secrecy, discovering that after reaching 100.000 times life gene level, his body had gained a new, invisible and formless, power beyond normal godly energy storage.